You've probably heard the term vaccine hesitancy thrown around a lot, especially these past few years. But what does it actually mean when the experts use it? It often feels like this big catch-all phrase, but there's a real official framework for understanding it. So today, we're going to break down that exact framework piece by piece. All right, let's jump right in with the official definition from the World Health Organization's SAGE Working Group. They call it a delay in acceptance or refusal of vaccination despite availability of vaccination services. And that little phrase right there, that's everything. This isn't about people who can't get a vaccine. This is about the choice when access isn't the issue. And they make it super clear. It's complex, it's specific to the situation, and the reasons can be totally different from one town to the next.
So, to really get a handle on what hesitancy is, first we have to understand that it's not just a simple yes or no, black or white thing. The people who study this see it more like a spectrum, a continuum of acceptance.
So way over on one end of this spectrum, you have what's called full acceptance. These are folks who accept all the recommended vaccines pretty much without a second thought. For them, it's just a standard, trusted part of staying healthy. Okay, now let's swing all the way to the other side. This is the opposite pole, complete refusal. It's a smaller group, but they refuse all vaccines, and they're just as sure about their decision as the full acceptance group is about theirs.
And right here, in this huge, complicated middle ground, that's where vaccine hesitancy lives. These aren't people who've made a final, firm no. No way. They might just delay a shot, or maybe they get it but feel really unsure about it, or they might refuse one specific vaccine but be totally fine with others. This big gray area is what we're here to understand.
Which, of course, leads to the big question, right? If this middle ground is so diverse, how on earth do you even begin to organize the millions of reasons someone might be there? How do you build a model to make sense of all that complexity?
Well, that's exactly what the SAGE Working Group did. They came up with a simple but really powerful framework to help. It's called the 3Cs model, and it's just a memorable way to start bucketing the main reasons for hesitancy.
The first C is confidence. And this is all about one thing: trust. Do people trust that the vaccines actually work and are safe? Do they trust the doctors and nurses who are giving them? And, this is a big one, do they trust the motivations of the policymakers recommending them? If trust breaks down anywhere along that chain, you can get hesitancy.
The second C is complacency. Now, this one's a little bit of a paradox, and it's fascinating. When vaccines do their job so well that diseases become really rare, well, people stop worrying about those diseases. The risk doesn't feel real anymore, so getting vaccinated can start to feel less urgent, less necessary. It's not about being afraid of the vaccine, it's about not being afraid of the disease. And the final C is convenient. This one's all about the practical stuff. How much of a pain is it to actually get the shot? Is the clinic super far away? Are the hours impossible with your work schedule? Does it cost money? Is the information they give you just totally confusing? Sometimes even a few small hassles can be enough to make someone put it off. Okay, so the 3Cs are a fantastic starting point, for sure. Confidence, complacency, convenience. Got it. But they're still kind of big buckets, right? So what are the specific, real-world things that actually influence whether someone feels confident or complacent or finds it convenient? To get at that, the working group went even deeper. They created a much more detailed tool called the Vaccine Hesitancy Determinants Matrix. The best way to think about it is like a diagnostic map that helps pinpoint the specific things that are really driving the issue.
This whole matrix organizes dozens of different factors into 3 main categories of influence. And this helps health experts go from the general 3 Cs to the very specific reasons why a certain community might be hesitant.
First up, contextual influences. This is the big picture, the environment we all live in. What's the conversation like on social media and in the news? What are influential leaders, political, religious, community, saying? How do people generally feel about the pharmaceutical industry? All of these massive societal forces really set the stage.
Okay, so from that big picture, we zoom right into the individual and group level. This is much more personal. It's about our own past experiences or our family's experiences with vaccines. It's our deep down beliefs about health. And it's that really powerful force of social norms. I mean, what do our friends and family think?
And the third category gets super specific. It deals with issues tied directly to the vaccine itself. This could be something as simple as a fear of needles, or it could be questions about the vaccination schedule, especially for kids. Or maybe there's uncertainty because a vaccine is brand new. Even the attitude of the person giving you the shot, that can make a huge difference.
And this all leads to a really crucial point, which the report highlights with this quote. What they're saying here is super important. With a lot of health issues, you can kind of predict behavior based on things like education, but not here. In some places, higher education is linked to more vaccine acceptance, but in other places, it's linked to less. It just shows you how complex this is. You can't make easy assumptions.
So, we've got a definition, we've got the 3Cs model, we've got this whole complicated matrix. But what's the point of all this? In the real world, why does it actually matter that we define and categorize everything so carefully?
It matters a ton because it helps officials tell the difference between two totally separate problems. Vaccine hesitancy is a behavioral issue. But what if people aren't getting vaccinated just because the local clinic ran out of supplies or it's 50 miles away? Well, that's not hesitancy, that's a system failure. And the solution for a supply chain problem is completely different from the solution for a trust problem.
And that's really the big takeaway here. Having this clear framework isn't just some academic thing. It lets health officials figure out the real reason for low vaccination rates. It stops them from wrongly blaming people's choices for what are actually system failures. And most importantly, it lets them create strategies that actually work because they're solving the right problem, whether that means building trust or just keeping the clinic open later.
So, this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Now that we have a real framework for understanding the why behind someone's choice, a way to move beyond simple labels, how does that change the conversation for all of us? How can we use this understanding to move past arguments and toward a more productive dialogue?